G'day, we just thought we'd give you a bit of a rundown on our centrepiece for excessive fishing WA, our 8.5 metre Oceanic Fabrication built centre cab. We'll start at the trailer and work our way up. So the trailer's a 4.5 tonne rated steel trailer. We went for steel purely because it's stronger than alley, and also a bit easy to repair. If we're up north and we have a drama, we can weld it and repair it. But apart from that, not that you should have dramas, but you never know. She's running the Land Cruiser stud pattern 4.5 tonne axles, all LED lighting, that sort of thing. Nothing too flash. We've got rollers down the middle and skids on the side just to help centre it as you're coming up. It's a full drive-on trailer. Comes on really nice and easy. We've just recently fitted the boat catch to it, so the boat catch is just, mate, worth its weight in gold. We actually picked it up off a friend of ours and thought we'd give it a go, and it changes it from a 5-minute job putting the trailer on to a 30-second job. Pull up, you can hear it click on, and it really is that simple. Every boat should have one, I reckon. Just makes life a bit easier. So we're running the Hydrostar breakaway unit. It's got disc brakes on all 4 wheels. Pulls up really well. When you're towing a boat this big, you've got to have a good braking system. And the Hydrostar, I reckon, is as good as anything else out there. The side of the boat and the hull. So the hull waterline is 7.6 metres. The build length is 8.5 metres. It's actually 9.6 metres overall. So from bow sprit to the bracketing at the rear of the motor is 9.6 metres. So it's a long boat. It's 2.8 metres wide, so obviously we need a permit, but that's alright. We pull up at night, camp over. Usually when we go to Exmouth, we'll stay at Billabong. So pull up there and get a steak and move on the next day. It's got big reverse chines. When Oceanic built this boat, they've actually backed off the chines a little bit because they found it was creating too much air underneath the boat, so they backed the chines off a little bit just to let a bit of air escape and cushion the ride, and it rides as good as any other boat in the market, probably better. It surprised me. So yeah, that's about it. We'll jump up and have a look up top. Rightio, so we'll start from the front and work our way to the back. Front of the boat, we're running the Viper electric winch. It's a drum winch. I think the drum winches are better personally. Less chance of a tangle. It doesn't have free fall, which would be nice, but still a very good winch. Makes life easy when you're out chasing snapper around the 10 metre mark, or even pulling up shuttle in Exmouth and having lunch. Just makes it so much easier. With the bar work, we decided to upgrade the bar. The bar work we came a bit skinny. I like the big bar. Makes it look a bit more solid, a bit tougher. Up the front here, we quite often fish 3 people, whether we're chucking lures or bottom bouncing. You know, to fish 3 people up here makes it easy. You know, whether you cruise around the estuaries, checking out dolphins, you know, get the girls and the kids up the front here. There's always plenty of room on this boat. It's a massive boat. Up the top, as you can see, we've got a UHF antenna, AM/FM antenna, XTM light bar. Yeah, that's an awesome little light bar. You don't need to go too big. Light bars don't usually work too well on boats. You see a lot of boats that have got massive big light bars. Yeah, they look cool. They really do nothing unless there's something for the light to reflect off. Light bars are pretty pointless out in a boat. But you know, that's why we've only gone for the small light bar. Whether it was that size or twice the size, it wouldn't really matter. We've got all lights on the side, so we've got work lights here, front, middle and rear of the boat. Just for fishing, we can turn them all on individually or all on together, either one. But yeah, they work fine. They're all spreaders, not spots, so cover a nice bit of water. So we'll work our way down the boat. Plenty of walk around room. Nice high sides, no chance of falling over the boat. Especially when your kids on board, you want a nice high side. On this boat, there's 38 rod holders. Don't need them all, but you know, you can never have enough rods. Each rod in the gunnel's got its own stubby holder, or anchor holder, sinker holder, whatever you want to call it. But stubby holders for us. So we'll have a look at the cabin. The cabin's massive on this thing. You know, you can sleep two in it quite easily. It's about the size of a queen size bed. It also has a plumbed up flushing toilet. So a bit of a look in there. Not a lot to see, but I'll move that cushion and level the toilet. It's about 5'5" of headroom. Lucky I'm not very tall. So here's our toilet. Never been used, but it's there if you want to. Like I say, it's still plenty of room in here. You can get changed in here. If I was any taller, it might be a bit hard, but Regan, the cameraman's 6 foot, and he manages all right. So we're also running autopilot on this boat. So there's a lot going on here. Everything's running through the Simrad backbone. We're running the Simrad Go 12 electronics with autopilot. We also have the Bluetooth module for the stereo, so we don't run a stereo. It all goes through our Simrad GPS. Works awesome. Just one less thing on the dash. When you're talking centre cabs, you're sort of a little bit limited for room, but yeah, that's the reason why we've gone for the Bluetooth Sonic hub. But yeah, there really is enough room in here to sleep two adults, no problem. Alright, so we'll look at the dash and the cockpit. So like I said before, we're running the Simrad Go 12. Great little unit. We're running the 1 kilowatt transducer. Yeah, it does everything we want it to do. 2 screens. I've always been keen on having 2 screens, but now I've had this, the single screen's fine. You know, you don't really need 2 screens, although it's nice to have 1 screen for a sounder, 1 for a plotter. This does everything we need it to do. But with the autopilot, with the Simrad autopilot, mate, that's the best invention. Just makes life easy. Whether you're trolling or heading out to a spot, just to be able to sit there and relax. I find that you're not as fatigued when you get back in after a day's fishing. So we did the full fit out ourselves on this boat. We did all the electrics. Me and a mate painted. I did the carpeting. You know, all the crew helped us sand the boat. There's about 350 hours going to, you know, fitting a boat out like this, whether it's the painting, the trimming, carpeting, wiring, you know, there's just a lot of work that goes into it. So yeah, so we'll move back down the back a little bit. So back before we go too far, the seats slide back and forward, swivel 360 degrees around. So good if you're a bit of a shorty like myself. Pull it right forward and nice and comfortable. We've got plenty of storage on this boat as well. So storage both sides here. We have a sink this side here. Okay. We have a little leg that goes down to support that. We chuck our cooker on there. Holds 200 litres of water. We've got like a water pump as well. We will put some photos up throughout the video as well, just to show you guys progress photos and that sort of stuff. We're running the Engel drop-in fridge. Unfortunately, these fridges are no longer available. Such an awesome idea in a boat. Better than having a fridge slide, nothing to break. Doubles as a seat, but yeah, we looked for one of these the other day for a new build that we're doing, and can't get them anymore. They absolutely spill them. But yeah, it's a wicked fridge, 40 litre, just perfect. Roof lining, roof's all lined. We've got LED lighting throughout. We have 4 speakers. Everything's all LED, fancy blue colours. Bit of bling, we all love a bit of bling. So these rod holders are for our small gear, just our you know, our small soft plastics gear and stuff like that. Like I say, there's 38 rod holders. Somehow we managed to fill them all, but that's not a bad thing. Yeah, the roof's all lined. We have a 160 watt solar panel on the roof running through the inner drive DC-DC. We'll show you that now. This is where our dual batteries are, main switch panels, main fuses for electric winches, that sort of thing. We run electric winches, electric reels for the side, all through Anderson plugs. A little bit hard to see in there, being a bit dark, but yeah, it's all powering through the inner drive. Three battery isolators, one for house, one for the engine, and one to link for jump start if need be. So we're running one cranking battery, heavy duty N70ZZ, and a M27 105 amp deep cycle. So just 2 batteries. When we're out fishing, we quite often will run another Engel. We put a 40 litre Engel that sits behind the door in the cabin, and that 160 watt solar panel runs both fridges off that one battery, no problem at all. And that's in Exmouth when it's hot. So two batteries are fine. We don't need any more. As long as you've got good solar, you don't need to add the weight with batteries. This is Oceanic's pretty basic bait board. It's removable. We got them to add some rod holders there for us. Just easy to grab a rod, mate. If we see a school of tuna or something with a twisty or something, we'll have a cast or leave a squid jig on there. Come across some squid, it's just easy to have a flip. The boat holds 600 litres of fuel. So underneath the floor here, there's 2 tanks. You can see the 2 fillers. Yeah, 600 litres is pretty much a must when you're up north, especially if you're doing long miles going to the islands. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have any less than 600 litres. It's running through a filter here at the back. Just 2 taps that we turn one on, turn one off, whether we want the front or the rear tank. But yeah, both 300 litres. In here is our fuel tank, which we don't use. We use that for storage. So it's massive. It's probably a little bit too big. You probably could do with making that smaller and maybe making either the water tank a bit bigger, which sits in front of it, or you could have, you know, a bit bigger fuel tank. Yeah, we always have an esky on the boat. It's just we find it a bit easier. Doubles as a seat, bench to cut food and prep food on. But yeah, each to their own. Alright, so we'll jump down the back and have a look at the engine. So the engine's a 300 horsepower Suzuki. 300 horsepower in a boat like this is fine. You know, everyone sort of says, you know, 200s or a 350, but a 300 on this pushes the boat at 38 knots max. That was on the estuary on a flat day. Generally we're out in the ocean, Exmouth when it's flat or whatever, we'll sort of pull 37 and a half knots. But that's usually with 5 or 6 guys on, all our gear, fridges full, esky full of fish if we're lucky enough, but which most of the time we are. But yeah, 300 Suzuki, really good engine. Quiet as a mouse at idle and at trolling. A little bit noisy around the 4,000 RPM mark. I was surprised when I was looking at engines. I was trying to get a bit of feedback from guys, and nobody told me about the noise of them. It's just an induction noise, it's just real throaty. You get used to it, but that's the only knock on it I have is it's probably just a little bit noisier. You know, compare it to my Honda 225 I had on my previous boat. At cruise speed, which is 442, it was probably half as noisy as the big Suzuki. But you know, apart from that, it's meant fuel economy. I get about 1.1 litres per nautical mile at 26 knots. 26 knots is its cruise speed, which is fine. Yeah, 300 horsepower. That's all you need. It's mint. All right, finally at the back of the boat. When we got the boat built, this is an option with Oceanic Fabrication. At first I thought, no, I'm not having that on the back of the boat, but made the decision to pay the little bit extra to get it, and mate, it gets used all the time. Whether we're towing tubes around the estuary, whether we're towing tinnies over the islands in Exmouth, or whether we're just, you know, using it to climb up on. You know, it gets used all the time. Awesome bit of gear. You know, wind gets a bit windy. We've got other guys at the boat ramps that aren't quite as astute as they need to be when they're getting their boat on and off the trailer. A bit of a bumper bar, just, yeah, it's just a good thing. Just a good thing. We're running trim tabs. Trim tabs, this boat doesn't really need trim tabs to make it ride any better. It loves a bit of trim, this boat. But it's mainly for, because it's got the hard top with a bit of a crosswind, it can have a bit of a lean. So mainly 90% of the time we're using the trim tabs, it's just to level the boat up. That's about it. So we've got a set of underwater lights. The underwater lights are just $185 each. Underwater lights from the internet. Nothing special. You know, you can pay $2,000 for underwater lights, but we've had them on now for 12 months. Been fine. Haven't had a drama. So yeah. There's our 1 kilowatt transducer, the big boy. We were tossing up whether we went through hull or transom mount. I decided to go transom mount because I heard a lot of people saying that if you do go through hull, unless the bottom of the boat's 100% perfect, you can get issues with, you know, bubbles and interference. We bought this system before the boat was built, so as it turns out, the bottom of the boat's flat as absolutely awesome. So I could have run it through hull, but I don't regret it. This is fine. It picks up the bottom at 22 knots, 24 knots, depending on weather conditions. But you know, on a good day, 22, 24 knots perfectly. We're just running the solo bin on the back, just for our rubbish. You'd be surprised with the days fishing how much rubbish you do accumulate. So it'd be nothing for us if we got 4 or 5 guys on the boat to fill that. But yeah, apart from that, I hope you like the boat. Yeah, any questions? Feel free to flick us a message. It really is a good boat. Value for money. The best boat on the market. You can pay in excess of 220 to 240,000 for an 8.5 metre boat like this. This here is a darn sight lot cheaper than that. But for ride quality, capabilities, up there with the best 8.5 metre alley boat in the market. Before we go, it's running an 8mm bottom. So the reason we're in 8mm bottom is for weight. The boat weighs 2.5 tonne dry, bone dry, no fluids in it in this trim. The trailer is exactly 1 tonne. So towing weight is 3.5 tonnes, totally dry with the trailer and the boat. When we head to Exmouth with our gear in it, usually we fill up water here because the water up in Exmouth isn't usually the greatest. So we'll carry 200 litres of water, generally got 100 litres of fuel in it when we go away, and all our gear. Towing weight's generally around 4 tonne, 4.1 tonne on the road. So it's heavy, but you know, you want a boat to ride well, you've got to have weight in it. So 8mm bottom, 8mm transom, 5mm sides, and 3mm superstructure. But yeah, fuel plug design, hull, awesome, absolutely awesome. I've just sold this boat. I'm getting another one built with the same guys because they do such a good job. Same build plug design. So yeah, I recommend them. Awesome boat, awesome company to work for. Give Aris a call at Oceanic Fabrication. Get him, do you up a quote and go and meet him. Great guys to work for, so, and to deal with. So yeah, hope you like the review. We'll see you out in the water.